All right, so 2.4, day 2 is going to be a shorter lesson, and this is more about you haven't learned about point slope form, or you may remember it from Algebra 1. But before we get into that, let's review, and let's write an equation of each line in slope-intercept form. Okay, so remember slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. All right, so on letter A, you have a slope of 1/4 and a y-intercept of 3. So you do y equals your slope, so 1/4. Put the x there because it goes with your slope. And then that's a positive 3 as the y-intercept, so you just put plus 3. Easy enough, right? The next one, it would be y equals negative 3x plus 8 because it's a positive 8. Excuse me. All right, so now let's talk about point slope form, and this does come in handy sometimes. There's instances. So here it is. It's y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. Okay, so let's talk about it. Some things. So this, of course, your m is always going to be your slope, right? So they're going to give you a coordinate. So this is the x coordinate. You plug it in there, and this would be your y coordinate. Okay, do not forget that there are a few negatives, and they come into play. All right, so here's the type of problems that point slope is very helpful for. So it says write an equation of each line in slope-intercept form. Okay, so we have the slope is 2, and they give us a coordinate 2, 8. So I'm going to label it x1, y1, you know me. And then let's go ahead and just plug it into the equation. So I'm going to have y minus my y1, which is 8, equals my slope, 2, parentheses, x minus the x1 that they give us, 2. Sweet. So we plugged it in. If they asked for it in point slope form, that's what you would write. But this one wants us to convert that to slope-intercept form, aka we need to get the y by itself. Okay, you may be tempted just to add 8 to move that 8 over, and you're not wrong, it's just not quite the right time. But first you need to get rid of those parentheses by distributing. So 2 times x would give you 2x. 2 times negative 2 would give you negative 4. Bring everything else down. All right, now we're ready to go. So move the 8 over. So let's add 8. Add 8. So y equals 2x plus 4. The y is by itself. Good. That's all they needed. So we did it. Next problem. Let's just plug it into our formula. So this is x1, this is y1. So I have y minus, my y1 is 0. That's really handy. It's going to be nice. Just watch. Equals my slope, 1/2, parentheses, x. Now don't let this negative figure or mess you up. You still have a minus sign, but you have to minus negative 1. Okay. So whenever you minus negative 1, that becomes plus positive, right? So now it's x plus 1. Okay, so now y minus 0 is just y, right? And let's go ahead and distribute. What is 1/2 times x? Well, that's just 1/2 x. And the next one, 1/2 times positive 1 is positive 1/2, or half of 1 is a half. Okay, is it in slope-intercept form? Yes, it is. So we are finished with that one. Okay, here's another one. I've got, I forgot to label almost, x1, y1. So I have y, 2 negatives, 3 negatives, wow, okay. So y minus negative 4, don't forget it's minus negative, equals negative 1/3 parentheses x minus negative 6. Okay, I'm going to clean this up a little bit and make these plus positives because that's what I like to do. So now I have y plus 4 equals, let's go ahead and distribute. Go slow on your distributing because there's a fraction. Negative 1/3 times x would give you negative 1/3 x. Negative 1/3 times 6. If you're not great at fractions, make your calculator do it. That would be negative 2, so minus 2. All right, we're almost done. The y is almost by itself. We just need to subtract 4 from both sides. So I have y equals negative 1/3 x minus 2, or negative 2 minus 4 would be negative 6. We did it. Okay, last one of these. So I'm going to label it x1, y1. So y minus negative 8 equals negative 4 parentheses x minus 0. Anytime you have a 0, it's going to make your life easier. You'll find that out real soon. But anyway, so let's finish it off. So make this plus positive. Going to distribute. So that gives me negative 4x. And what's negative 4 times 0? Well, that's just 0. So you don't have to write anything. And then I have y plus 8. So I need to subtract 8 to get the y by itself. So y is negative 4x minus 8. Okay. Now this one is a little trickier. You have to do one extra step. So that one extra step that you have to do, they're giving you 2 points, and so this is great. So we have to make the equation of the line through 2 points. Okay. So we will end up using this point slope formula. There's a few different ways to do this, but this is my favorite way for sure. So first thing we need to do is find out what the slope is. So first, find slope. Okay. Second thing you need to do is pick a point, doesn't matter which one, and plug it in to point slope. Okay. Oh, okay. So this one, they don't want us to convert it to a slope intercept, so we only have to do point slope. Sweet. This will be even easier. Okay, so let's see. So if you don't remember, hopefully you do, but if you don't remember, the formula for slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so I'm going to label them x1, y1, x2, y2. All right, so let's go ahead and find our slope. So we have y2, which is 9, minus our y1, which is 1, over x2, which is 7, minus x1, which is 5. Okay, that gives me 8 over 2, which what does that reduce to? 8 over 2 is 4. Sweet. So now we picked, we found our slope, so now you just need to pick one of the points. It doesn't matter which one. So if, let's say I'm going to pick that x1, y1 that I have labeled. So I would have y minus my y1, 1, equals 4 parentheses x minus my x1, 5. Okay, literally, that's all they want from you. You could have said it like this, y minus, used your other coordinate, y minus the other y, or y2 it is on this one, so 9 equals your slope 4 parentheses x minus 7. Okay, so either one of these would have been just fine, or either one is what they're asking. It's okay, whichever way you want to go. But let me tell you why this works. So you're like, Mr. Roeder, those look like totally different equations. They do look like it, but look what happens whenever I convert it to slope-intercept form. And I'm only going to do this on this one because it's just taking extra time, but it is still good to see why this works. So on that first one, I would distribute the 4. So that would give me 4x minus 20. I'm going to bring everything else down. Then I would add 1 to both sides. So I would have y equals, because those cancel, 4x minus 19. Okay? All right, so look what happens over here. If I distribute, let me use blue. So I'm going to distribute the 4, so I have 4x. And then 4 times negative 7 would be negative 28. Bring everything else down. Now to get the y by itself, I need to add 9. Add 9. So this would be y equals 4x. Negative 28 plus 9 would give you negative 19. Look at that. We end up with the same equation in slope-intercept form. So that's why this formula is so handy to use whenever that you're trying to make the equation of a line and they don't just give you the y-intercept and they don't just give you the slope. It takes a little bit more work, but it's pretty sweet. So again, I did all that extra work just so you could see why it works, but you only need to do that part that I boxed. Okay, this one, I'm not going to do all that. Let's just knock it out. So find your slope, x1, y1, x2, y2. So I have 8 minus 2 over 5 minus 3. So that gives me 6 over 2, which that reduces to 3. Okay, so I'm just going to pick a point. It doesn't matter. I'll pick the first point, 3, 2. Let's plug it in. Y minus 2 equals 3, parentheses, x minus 3. They don't want you to convert it to slope-intercept form, so that's all you have to do. 2 more problems. I gave you some negatives. Good. x1, y1, x2, y2. So let's see, I've got negative 2 minus 2 over negative 4 minus 4. Ooh, okay. So on top, negative 2 minus 2 gives you negative 4. Negative 4 minus 4 is negative 8. So a negative divided by a negative makes that positive, and 4/8 turns into 1/2. All right, let's plug it in. I'm going to be different, pick the harder point because there's negatives. That's why I'd say it's more difficult. Doesn't really matter. So let's do y minus negative 2 equals positive 1/2 parentheses x minus negative 4. On this one, I do want you to clean it up since you have minus and negative. I want you to just rewrite it one time for me. So that becomes y plus 2 equals 1/2 times x plus 4. Okay, and you could have gone the other way and it would have been just fine. All right, last one. Negatives for days, x1, y1, x2, y2. So I have negative 1 minus negative 2 over negative 3 minus negative 1 plus positives. So negative 1 plus 2 would give me 1. Negative 3 plus 1 would give me negative 2. All right, so my slope is negative 1/2. So you could write this, for fun, I'm going to write this a few different ways. You could leave that negative in the denominator if you want. You could bring it out front, or you can write it in the top. All 3 of those are the same exact thing, so just know that. Okay, and so now let's plug it in. I'm going to pick the first point. So y minus negative 2 equals negative 1/2 parentheses x minus negative 1. Clean it up, and I have y plus 2 equals negative 1/2 parentheses x plus 1. And that's it for the point slope lesson. I hope you enjoyed it and you have a great rest of your day.